Hey Scorpio, and welcome to your January 2019 Lenormand reading. I'm Jade with YesYesYes, and welcome to my channel. So the Lenormand spread is 36 cards spread. The Lenormand deck is 36 cards. It was created by Mademoiselle Lenormand, and I believe in Paris in the 19th century. And it's kind of reminiscent of the old gypsy way of reading cards. But what's great about the Lenormand deck is that it's precisely to the point. It's quick and dirty. It kind of tells you things as they are, and then you can choose to change them or take them the way that you want. But it's really great at precisely just giving a very cut and dry answer to what's going on. So I have pre-shuffled the cards. I'm using the Gilded Reverie, I think I'm saying that right, deck, which I love. It's beautiful. And I'm going to do the most well-known of the spread for this cards, which are called the Grand Tableau. And the Grand Tableau is it's very in-depth. I'm just going to do a very general. And if you're interested in having more in-depth of a reading with me, all that information is in the box below. And I thank you. Let me know how this feels for you too. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so for Scorpio, January 2019, I have pre-shuffled, and now we'll decide how we go forward. Oh, okay, that's the beginning card. It all begins here, Scorpio. The key, the man, the woman, the tree. So interesting that they're right next to each other. The rider, the tower, the fox, and the mountain. Okay, making sure they're all in the line. The house, clover, whip, clouds, paths or crossroads, and the heart, the anchor, and the dog. Moon, bouquet, the lilies right next to each other, interesting. The cross, stars, the ship, the birds, and the child. The ring, and the sun. The scythe, the park or the garden, the fish, the bear, the stork, and the coffin in the end. Okay, and then we're going to have the letter. I think you can see these all. The book, the mice, and the snake. Interesting. Okay. So our significator cards, the man and the woman, masculine energy, feminine energy. What we're looking at is the present line. Everything in front on the right is the future. This is the past. Same thing here with the feminine. That's the future, and this is the past. When we have them next to each other, it could mean that we're talking about the couple who's very close, or we could talk about a couple who literally doesn't have much between them. So there's nothing coming between them, okay? So I'll do my best. I'm going to read for both at this point. And give me a moment. I'm going to see if any of the cards are in their own house, and I have to count it out by my finger because otherwise I'll get confused. Okay, so this is just another layer. There's so many layers of Lenormand. I'm just going to do a few here. So the whip, excuse me, in the house of the whip means that what's happening here is it needs to have, there's decisive action that's being called upon. We're being asked to look at things and look at them closer, and then look at them again, closer and closer. The whip has to do with repetition. It also has to do with almost like a self-inflicted pain. So we want to make sure that we are looking at things, looking at this spread with the proper with the proper eyesight without hurting ourselves, if that makes sense. So ultimately, take what you want from it and leave the rest behind. Now, with the ring being in the house of the ring, that means that we've got a connection, a commitment here, and it's a commitment to self, and it's a commitment to whatever your personal beliefs are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the people are far away. It's not really about another person. It's about questioning what you're committed to. So we'll see if these can come out in the whole reading. I'll leave them pulled up just in case. All right. So we'll start up here. The key, the secret, the truth in the revealing of this person. Okay. So this is a destiny. This is an understanding, a personal understanding of self. So this masculine energy really knows who he is. Okay, that's what is happening here. Now, I'll extend it. So we have two people who really know who they are and really what they want in life. That's where we are in the past. That's where you come from. Okay. Now, what's happening in the future for you all is that we have the tree being a legacy or health. Or family. Something about this is coming forward, and it's coming into a corporation, into the tower, into something that is greater than just the small unit of people. This is like a huge conglomeration of people, okay? So it could be, if we're talking health here, this could be hospital, but it could also be university, or it could be, at work. And because it's right next to the Fox card, I would say that there's some cunningness that needs to happen at work. And it might be a challenge. There might be some slow development there, okay? It could also be that if this is health, and this health need is coming forward, something is being revealed by that hospital, there's going to be some slow progress, okay? Whatever this path is, it's just going to be slow. It will be a challenge, but we'll see what happens in February when we move forward, what that reveals itself as. If we want to look at this is the couple, this is the family moving through, and this could be, maybe there's a marriage, even though this card is way down here. This is your higher, I'm not sure higher, but your greater group of people. So this would be the law. So maybe there's a law tie, so that would be going down to the courthouse and tying the knot. But there could be a challenge. It could be a slow movement. So maybe if this is, some type of connection between two people where one is, immigrating, so you're going for green card status. Maybe there's some tie-ups, some slow development with the government here. Even though you have technically tied the knot and you have technically made that commitment to each other, it's just a slow road that you have because it's a governmental choice, okay? So we'll see what else comes from that. But you guys have a great connection already, so you know who you are when you start this whole thing. Second line here, we're going to talk about the home. Now, there's a lot of luck that you have at home. Both of you had a soft childhood. How about that? But there's some challenges now in the present for the female. Maybe the male's not feeling that so much, but there's some challenges and there's some confusion, and maybe there will be a choice between two parties here. And so perhaps if there was a legal binding that was made between you two, maybe you're opening up your relationship here because love is in the future. It's not between you two, it's away from you two. The other thing could be that if you married for immigration purposes, and this is all government, then right here you're trying to figure out, well, now that we're married, but even though we may not love each other, how do we open up the relationship so that we can have love from people who are outside of us, so we can be satisfied from people outside of us? Now, that's a stretch. That's very specific. But again, we have a nice family life, but there's just some challenges and there's some choices in love that are happening. So it just could be, you know, maybe it's a new home situation for you two together, and you have to make some choices in order for the love to feel stable and feel connected and loyal together, okay? There could also be a choice that's made between, you know, you two can make a choice between yourselves, and there could be a friend, another person who steps into the relationship, okay? So maybe it turns into a third party situation together. Everybody makes this choice together, or four even, who knows? But there's a friendship, and it's stable. So the only reason why I'm questioning it is because there's some confusion and some choices, you know, there's split. We have a split. One way or the other. Love is on one side, right? So one way or the other. But there's a stable connection here. And this connection could be with each other, or it could be with somebody outside of yourself. So you will find this out as this reveals, okay? This is in the future. Doesn't really tell me how far. It could be, you know, if you wanted to look at the months, you could do it as months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. You could do days. It's really tough. And this is, again, a snapshot of where we are right now and where we're going from here as things are laying themselves out. All right, let's go to the next line. The moon, we have some emotional connection here. This could also be like a month ago, okay? But in the last moon cycle, there was some good feeling words, good healing support. That's what I would say. Emotional healing that happened. And again, this is in that same line where, you know, you have a really strong foundation here. So I think that, you know, if we're talking about a couple, masculine and feminine together, you have really strong foundation here, and just now you're in some shifting places. That's all, okay? So we have some emotional healing. The lilies is about, it's about an older couple. It could also be about legacy, and it could be a burden, okay? So while we had some emotional security, now we've got a little bit of a burden, and it might have to do with the family that's involved. So a bit of a burden, but it's destined. It's okay. The stars are blessing it. There's something that is outside of you that's creating a movement forward, okay? So despite having some challenges here, you have really great foundation, and now there's just some movement forward. Now the birds are here because there's some conversation in that movement, and that could be, we're talking about maybe having children, or it could be that there's some immature people around you talking. So this is about travel. It could just mean that, you know, there's something that's destined is telling you, oh, you have to take a trip. So and this will be that specific situation, if this is a marriage for a green card, you know, we're talking about we have to take a trip back to so-and-so's, you know, home country, and there's talk about that. There's an issue about that, or there's some kind of immaturity about that choice. It's very difficult, again, when it's like such a general reading, but it's really interesting to see how the cards could tell you one storyline or another. So where I'm at here is we've got some emotional stability that was beautiful. Currently we're in a place where it's family burdens that are old. These are old lines of family burdens. So something that's, you know, not you, not your mother or grandfather, but things that have come down for generations. There's a trip that's being called upon, or a new journey that's being called upon that's destined for you in the future, and there might be some conversations. It could be this family, or there might be some talk about having children, or some immature conversations or talk happening in the future, maybe on this trip, okay? Fourth line, we start with this connection, this contract, and it's a beautiful contract, and again, this could be where you guys are starting from. So this beautiful, energized, active, successful contract, what's happening is it came in swiftly, okay? So it could have just been a choice that was made quickly. And it was quickly, and the public knows, everybody knows about this, this contract. Now this could have just been the marriage, and that, you know, it was a quick marriage and it came through, and the public had to be there to witness. But there's some prosperity that's involved in that. There were some blessings that came from that. Maybe it's just, you know, from the family giving wedding gifts. But this is a beautiful union. You have beautiful cards again that you're starting with, and now we've moved forward really quickly. So all of life is kind of, you know, moved really quickly, and you've had some blessings, but there is some challenging energy here with the bear because there's some heaviness, right? There's a little bit of that burden from the cross here, but there's a little bit of heaviness and weighted responsibility of beginning something new, because we've got, again, the coffin here, which is transformation and endings, okay? So I don't know necessarily if that's the relationship, because it's just on one end to the other, if the relationship is ending, because we also have this new beginning. So perhaps it's just we're trying to get started, but we've got some challenges in the family. The family's challenging us to start new because they want to change something, okay? A lot of times when you make a choice to marry, it's not just two people living their life together, making their own life. It's that two families are coming together, and there's a lot more movement in responsibility that no one really understood before that connection. So that could be what's going on here. But in the future, there is some kind of change and transformation that has to do with this this initial relationship. And even though this relationship had some great energy here, and there's some beautiful blossoming and change here as well. There's lots and lots of change up and down, okay? So we've got ups and downs in this connection. Our final cards are the letter, which is written communications are secretive. Like, so maybe there's some secret writing, secret emails, secret texts that created some nervousness, and there's some deception. So this is your underlying energy for this whole reading, okay? So this is a warning here. It's a warning that's saying that no matter what this appears to be, no matter all of these beautiful cards that we started with, there's an underlying energy that's working to take this down, okay? And that could be what this is here. A lot of times we look at these ending cards here as the key to the coffin. The secret in solving this whole problem is that there's an ending coming. There's a change coming, okay? So remember, keep it straight. There is written words, there's secrets, there's anxiety, and there's deception underneath all of that, okay? I don't think it has to do with you two. I think if you two were left alone, you'd be fine. This would be your life right here. But because there's family obligations, because there's immaturity, because there is this, whatever, if this is government or some type of restrictive, you know, there's some really heavy cards coming up in the future. This is the stuff you got to step away from and be aware of, okay? And remember, if this isn't resonating, leave it. But if any of this feels like this could be you, what I would say is keep track of those emails, mince your words, and keep your cards close. What is that? You keep your hand close. Keep your cards close to your heart. Keep your, I don't know, whatever that saying is. But stay a little guarded, okay, this month. Because this is, the snake and the mice together can take this all down, and you don't want that. So if it's just me calling it out and saying, look, you know, I know that this is a marriage of convenience. I know that there are more people involved, and that the government is, you know, not going to fly with this. Keep this information tight, because if you want this to work, you don't want all this, all that extra stuff to get out. So perhaps if this is going to be a third person in your relationship, it's going to make it too messy, okay? You might want to pull it back and just keep it to just you two, because the strength is all here. This is the solid foundation. Go back to that and then move forward from there. That was crazy. Okay, very specific, but Scorpio, oh my gosh, you guys have a way of making relationships very intricate and deeply developed. So there's a lot of depth here, okay? So relationship and repetition, and making sure that you are keeping, not beating yourself up for any of it, okay? So don't do that, but keep it in check. Keep it in check. Keep this in check, okay? All right, Scorpio, that is what I have for you for January. It's just January, and it could just be this moment for 2019. Thanks for watching, and I do wish you a very happy new year.